Joining us on the program right now, senior advisor to Donald J. Trump for president, Lara Trump, who has also appeared on KFYO before. And Lara Trump, welcome back to KFYO, and welcome to the Chad Hasty Show. How are you today?
Thanks, Chad. It's great to be with you. I am doing great. Absolutely.
Great. Well, I appreciate you joining us today. With the 2020 Democrats, I think you did an interview with it may have been Sky News either yesterday or day before yesterday, and you said that the Democrats need to save their cash because you're not too worried about any of the Democrats who are running right now. I want you to talk about that right now. You know, with the I don't know how many now have announced that they're running for president. This appears to be a party, and I've said it on my show numerous times, it's not the Democrat Party, it's the Democrat Socialist Party. They keep moving further and further and further to the left. Is that why when you look at this field of Democrats and you look at America overall, you go, guys, the American people just aren't with you?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, that is very clearly an issue. All the Democrats now are out trying to out-Bernie one another, go as far left as they possibly can. As you mentioned, advocating for socialism in this country. But I feel incredibly confident, not just as a senior advisor to the campaign, not just as his daughter-in-law, but as an American citizen, that this president is going to have no problem getting reelected. Because, Chad, you look at 2016, he made a lot of promises to the people of this country. Guess what? He delivered on those promises now. People's lives are definitely better in this country because of Donald Trump. I always think that people vote with their wallets and their pocketbooks. Guess what? We have millions of new jobs that have been created in this country under President Donald Trump. 700,000 of them manufacturing jobs that have come back to this country that I guess he did have, as it turns out, the magic wand to bring back to our country. People have full-time instead of part-time jobs now. Wages have gone up. People's 401ks have gone up under this president. Stock market hitting record highs. So when people go back to the voting booth in 2020 and they voted for Donald Trump in 2016, you better believe they're going to cast another vote for him. But I also think there will be a large group of people out there, they may not tell anybody, but when they get in there and they think about the positive impact that they've seen in their life since Donald Trump took office, I think they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And it really doesn't hurt how crazy left the Democrats are going. I mean, I don't know who gave them the shovel and told them to start digging, but they can keep going as far as I'm concerned, whether you're talking about socialism, whether you're talking about infanticide, 40-week abortions, the Green New Deal, everyone championing a $93 trillion deal that would get rid of airplanes and cows. So as far as I'm concerned, from even just an American citizen perspective, I think it's going to be very easy for Donald Trump to win re-election.
When you look ahead and when you get asked this question, because you were talking about the president's the president's victories and the campaign promises that he's made, the campaign promises that he has kept, and I'm sure this will develop even more as we get closer to 2020. A lot of folks are going to go, okay, well, what's next then? What's on the president's agenda moving forward into 2020 and beyond?
Well, I mean, there's so much that he hasn't been able to do yet. You've seen how Congress has obstructed him from fixing our broken immigration system. They've tried to prevent him from building a wall, although we know he is going to build that wall on the southern border. There's no doubt about it. And you see that he just came out with a way to balance the budget over 15 years. I mean, the reality is our national debt nearly doubled under President Obama. It's now at $22 trillion. It's unsustainable for this country. Again, keep in mind we have a businessman in the White House, a guy that gets how money works, how the economy works. He's got a plan that's going to balance the budget in 15 years. He wants to make sure that our military continues to grow. Listen, if we could get Korea to be a denuclearized peninsula, how incredible would that be? These are things that people have talked about for decades and have been unable to do. He's moved the American embassy to Jerusalem in Israel, like so many before him promised. He actually did it. So there are so many more things that this president wants to get done for this country. He wants to continue continue bringing the jobs back, bringing the unemployment rate down, driving wages up, making sure that people have the shot at the American dream that we all deserve in this country. So 8 years probably wouldn't be long enough. If you gave Donald Trump 20 years, he would keep working every single day for the people of this country. But I think people like the way the country is headed. I think they want to see this continue.
Visiting with Lara Trump here on the Chad Hasty Show. I want to ask you about some comments that the former House Speaker Paul Ryan made apparently on Monday, and this is from Politico. He was speaking at a lecture, and he said that the president's reelection prospects could be in danger if he chooses to rely on personality rather than focus on policy. And here was one of the quotes. The person who defines, this is from former Speaker Paul Ryan, the person who defines that race is going to win the race. If this is about Donald Trump and his personality, he isn't going to win it. Your reaction?
Well, Paul Ryan, I don't think gets it still. First of all, this none of this has ever been about Donald Trump. His life, by all accounts, would be a heck of a lot easier, probably a lot better, had he never decided to run for president. He didn't need this job. He was famous around the world. He's a billionaire. He's built his empire, been one of the great successes in American history, quite frankly. And so he did not need to do this. The reason Donald Trump ran for office and the reason that he fights every single day, despite the constant attacks, despite the constant obstruction, is because he loves this country and he loves the American people. It's never been about him. You know, the media always tries to spin it that way. They always try and make it about him. But you know what? If you go to a campaign rally, if you go and hear the president speak, he talks about us. He talks about us as a collective, not about him. So while I respect that Paul Ryan has his own opinion, I'm going to have to disagree with him there. I also think you can't ignore more money in your pocket. You can't ignore more money in your 401k. You can't ignore taking your family on a vacation for the first time in 10 or 20 years now because you can afford to do that. Possibly sending your kids to college. Those sort of things matter to people. And when they look at their lives now and they look at their lives 2 or 3 years ago, they're going to say things are better and we want to continue it. So I think that's what this election is going to be based on. And in 2016, Donald Trump was just making promises. Now he's delivered on them. It's very easy.
Visiting with senior advisor to Donald J. Trump for president. It's Lara Trump joining us here on the Chad Hasty Show. Before I let you go, the Democrats announced yesterday that the DNC convention, that it's not going to be in Houston, Texas. It's going to be in Milwaukee. So the Democrats are finally going to visit Milwaukee. They're finally going to visit Wisconsin, or at least they have to at least once. What was your reaction to that, and how does that impact the president's plans on where he would like to see the Republican convention?
Well, they did decide, I guess, that Wisconsin is worth visiting this round, so they're going to go there for their convention. I know that you're sad they're not coming to Texas, but maybe next time.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll build a wall. We'll build a wall, right? We'll keep them out.
There you go. So the Republican convention is actually being held in my home state of North Carolina, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're very excited about it. Listen, I think this is possibly, part of the strategy the Democrats have to making sure that they win there. You know, they sort of forgot about, the flyover country, as it's called, the middle of the country, the vast majority of people in this country in 2016 when they forgot to visit a whole lot of places. So maybe that's what this is about. Who really knows? I know it's going to be quite a scene, quite a spectacle for the primaries, for the whole thing. I'm just going to sit down with some popcorn and enjoy the show because I think it's going to be quite a show when we see how crazy things are going to get. But again, it really does not reflect on anything as far as the election goes. I think that this president, again, is going to win by more in 2020 than he did in 2016. I think he's going to have a very ezy victory. Four more years of Donald Trump.
All right, but of course we appreciate you joining us today. It's Lara Trump, senior advisor for the President Trump's reelection campaign. Lara, as always, we appreciate your time, and we'll visit with you as the campaign continues.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Chad.
Thank you. That's Lara Trump, senior advisor to Donald J. Trump for president, here on the Chad Hasty Show.